Hi guys, welcome back to another interesting tutorial. In this video we are going to be making this trending abaya, also known as kaftan or bubu. I saw it on Instagram and it was really nice, so I decided to make it and also show you guys how to make it as well. But before we get into it, I really want to appreciate you guys for your support on the last video. I'm so super grateful. I never expected so many comments, the likes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. After that, the measurement we'll be needing on a pattern paper to save us time. The measurements needed are your shoulder to your nipple, your shoulder to your waistline, shoulder to your hemline, and shoulder to your full length. We'll also be needing your hip circumference, be needing your sleeve length, and because of this is a kaftan, this is a kaftan dress. It's not the way you measure your normal sleeve length that you're going to measure this one. What you have to do is place the tape at the backbone at your neck, back neck, the bone there. You place the tape there and you take it across over your hand, or you take it across your hand to the length, wherever length you want it. In this tutorial I initially made use of 24, but then I reduced it to 22 because it was looking so long and I don't want it to be that long, so I reduced it to 22. Then your shoulder to your nipple, just like I've said, shoulder to your nipple is important. It's just there for guide. Actually, it's not as if you need it. It's there for guide. You need it for guide. Your shoulder to your waistline is needed for guide, shoulder to your hip line, then shoulder to your full length. Then next thing you have to do is you rule out your starting point. Rule out your starting point. The starting point, which is the shoulder line, the first line you're seeing right now, is the starting point. I measured 1 inch away from the hem of the paper and I rule out a line across it as my starting point. That is how I got the first line. That is just a starting point, also known as the shoulder line. Then yeah, that is the starting point. The line there, that line is the starting point. Then from that starting point to the next line is my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10.5. Shoulder to my bust point, 10.5. Then from the shoulder to bust point, from my shoulder to my waistline line, which is 17 inches. Shoulder to waistline is 17 inches. Then shoulder to hemline, mine is 26 inches. And shoulder to the full length, I made use of 47 because I want it to be three-quarter kind of. I don't want it to be short, I don't want it to be long. I just want it to be three-quarter, that I can wear it with heel or with sneakers. You can also rock it with sneakers. So next up is measure the sleeve length. Like I said, how to get your sleeve length is you place the tape at the backbone, the bone behind your back neck. You place the tape there and you take it across over your hand to the sleeve, to the length of the sleeve you want. Mine is 22, like I said, mine is 22. I made use of 22. Then I marked the 22 on the shoulder line. I came down to the bust point and marked the same 22. It's also for guide. I did the same thing even on the waistline. I marked the same 22 for guide, so that to guide me on. It's not as if I will need any of the measurement there. It's just for guide. You understand what I'm saying as we proceed. So you mark the same 22. You can see I marked it till the hip line. They are just for guide. Next thing you have to do is slant your shoulder slant, or your shoulder slope. Some people call it shoulder slope, some call it, like I know it as. Next is the neck. The length of the neck is 8 inches and the width is I'm considering if I should place a placket on it. If I'm placing a placket on it, I don't know yet. If I'm placing a placket on it, then I'm making the width of the neck 5 inches. But if I'm not placing a placket on it, if you're not making use of any placket, in fact I will make use of placket. I'll finish off the neck with a placket. So the width is going to be 5 inches. But if you're not putting any placket on yours, you make the width of the neck 3.5. But me, I'm making it 5 inches because of the placket. 5 inches by 8 inches. And you also remember that it's a V-neck shape. It's a V neckline. So it's 8 by 5. Sorry, 5 by 8. Yes, the width is 5 and the length is 8. The length of the neckline is 8. While the back neckline will be 1.5. The back neckline will be 1.5 by 5. The width will be 5, the length will be 1.5. So that is it. What I'll do now, connect the 5 inches to the 8 inches. Yeah, that's the V shape, the V neckline. So after connecting it, next thing I'll do is to connect the shoulder slant. Connect the shoulder slant to the neckline. Yes, to the 5 inches neckline. Connect my shoulder slant to the 5 inches neckline. Next is to input your hip circumference. Your hip circumference divide by 4. Yes, hip circumference divide by 4 plus 1 inch. Mine is 40, so 40 divided by 4 is 10 plus 1 inch, which is 11. You go ahead and mark it on the hip line. Next is to mark your sleeve opening, the place your hand will come out from, the sleeve opening. I made use of 12 inches. Yes, I made use of 12 inches. If you look at the style very well, the sleeve opening there is not that wide enough. The sleeve opening there is very small. But because I want a situation where I can pass the belt inside, I will tie the belt inside, and the back is just plain. The back, there's only the front that is fitted. The back is not fitted. So that's why I'm going to make the sleeve opening wider. I made it 12 inches. I made my sleeve openings 12 inches. Yeah, you can go as far as 13, 14, 15, depending on your choice. Next is to connect from where the sleeve opening stopped to your hip line with a dot line. As you can see, I'm dotting the line. I didn't just go straight because I need a slight curve there. I didn't just go straight to connect it before I used my pattern master to curve it out very well. But before, you have to use your hand to join it to the hip line with a dotted line. That's next. I went in by 10.5 on the hemline. You can go in by 10, you can go in by 11, you can still go in by 12. It depends on how tapered you want it to look at the down part. So I went in by 10.5 and I connected it to the hip line. If you want a curve, if you want it to have curve below that hip line, all you have to do is measure from your shoulder to your knee length. Then you use your pattern, your curve set, and you connect from the hip to the knee length, and from the hemline to the knee length also. So it will have a little bit of curve there, but I don't want it to have curve. I'm okay with the way it's looking. If you look at it very well, it's already coming together. It's beginning to take its shape. So I like the way it's looking. Next I will do now is to slash, because I want more volume below the sleeve area. So all I have to do now is to slash to draw a slash line where I will slash open for more volume. I'm only going to do it for the front. I don't want too much of volume. But if I want too much of volume, I would have done it front and back. But because I don't want too much of volume, I just want it so simple and good looking. That's just what I want. So I'm going to slash only the front piece. I'm not going to do anything at the back. The back is just going to be like that. So all I have to do now is to slash the line open, and I'm good to go. Then I will spread it open, and voila. So that is it. Look at it. The front has already taken its shape. Then finally, for the front to be complete, there's a slit at the front. All I did was I went up by 16 inches. Then I used my pattern master to connect it back to the line, to the 10.5 that I went in earlier on. So I went up by 16 inches, used my pattern master to connect it, and it gave me a perfect curve, the perfect curve that I wanted for it. So that is it for the front. Moving forward, the back is not so complicated. All you have to do is, because I don't want the hip area to look so fitted, all you have to do is on your hip line, divide your hip by 4. Your hip divided by 4 plus 5 inches. Yes, hip divided by 4 plus 5 inches. Mine is 15. My hip is 40 divided by 4 is 10 plus 5 inches is 15. So I went ahead and I marked 15. But if you don't want it, if you like the way it is, that you want it to look tapered, you can go ahead and leave it. Is all your choice. Is your choice. So I went ahead now and connected from where the sleeve opening stopped to the 15 inches on my hip line. I connect it because I don't want it to look so shaped at the back. So I went ahead now and connect it, then connect it straight down to the hemline. That is all I did for the back. Then, like I said earlier on, the back neck is, the width is 5 and the length is 1.5. That is it for the back length, and that is it for the back. The back is ready like this. So all I will do now is cut out the back. I'll cut out the back first, cut from the side up. Remember I said I don't want the back to have any splash and spread. I don't want the back to, but if you want, you can go ahead and slash it open. It's your choice. So, oh sorry, I made the neck and the neck length 2, not 1.5. It's 2 by 5. So if you want the back to also have slash and spread method there, you can go ahead and do that, but I don't want, so that's why I'm not slashing it open. So now I'll go ahead now and cut out the back piece first. Yeah, that is the back piece first, and trace it, transfer it to my my fabric, and go ahead, cut out the front, slash the line open, cut out the front slit, and it's ready. So for the kaftan or bubu or abaya, whichever one you call it, I'll be using this cute fabric. Um, be using this fabric. There's something about this fabric that attracted me to it, and that is the color. I love the mature, how mature the color is. So beautiful. So that's what I'll be, this is the fabric I'll be using. It's a beautiful silk fabric. I've placed it on my fabric, adding half of an inch sewing allowance all across it, from the neck to down to the hemline. I added half of an inch sewing allowance. So if you want to still go ahead and slash it open, you can go ahead and do that. This is the advantage of pattern paper. You can create your design in pattern paper, create it, do whatsoever you want to do all the magic in the piece of paper, and use, if you make a mistake, you use sellotape, gum it back, and you're good to go. So you can go ahead and slash it open if you want to do that. But since I just want the drape to only be at the front, I don't need it at the back, so I'm not going to slash it open. Next is, I'm just showing you the full back bodies. This is for the back. To cut out the front, you just have to cut out the front neckline. That is the front neckline. You cut it out, cut out that side back shaping, you cut out the front slit, and open up your slash line, open it up, and your front is ready. After slashing it open, you go ahead and look for a piece of paper to put underneath it. Put underneath, and you spread it by, depend on you. I'm spreading it here by 9 inch. Spread it by 9 inches, and I went down to hold it, and I went ahead to hold it down with my paper tape. I held it down, then I used my curve to connect it back to the end of the sleeve opening. I use my pattern master to connect it back. So we go ahead and join the shoulders together, sewing on half of an inch. Remember, that is the allowance we added, the initial allowance we added, 0.5 inches. So you're going to join the shoulders together on 0.5 of an inch. Then finish off the side seam, the sleeve opening. You can do that with your bias, or you go ahead and fold it twice. Fold it the first one, fold it the second one, and run your stitch on it. Also with the hemline, same thing. Then coming to the neck, I'm going to finish off the neck with a placket. Like I mentioned earlier, I will be using a placket to finish off the neck. And then when you sew from the shoulder, when you sew from the tip of the shoulder to the other end, you stop. Then you continue from where the sleeve opening stop and start also. Then I will do this and we'll try it on.